This is a News 36 Sports special report. Live from Charlotte Coliseum and New York City with News 36 Sports Director Jim Celania and former NBA star Cedric Maxwell. It's the Charlotte Hornets draft party.
Oh, look at this, folks. Everybody's out here, but if you're not here, you got the next best seat, and that's with us right here at WCNC and Channel 36. The show is going on. This is Jim Celania at the Charlotte Coliseum. And we've got the show for you from 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock tonight. Stay right with us. We're going to go live to New York City to find out the Charlotte Hornets #1 pick. That's where our WIl Hampton is. Jay Squires is circling the Coliseum to bring us the flavor of all the people out here. And, of course, we're going to give away some tickets to some Hornets games with a sports stumper. And, of course, our expert analyst, Cedric Maxwell, is with us, of course, formerly of UNCC. And a #1 draft pick of the Boston Celtics. The last time we had you on here, he about picked the North Carolina-Kansas game perfectly to the score and said, don't be surprised if Duke beats UNLV. You did such a good job, we had to ask you back.
Well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's going to be a lot of excitement for us tonight.
Before we take a look at anything else, I want to ask you a question. In 1977, where were you when you were drafted? I understand it wasn't on TV. And did you know you were going to the Boston Celtics?
I had an idea I was going to the Celtics. I was in Cincinnati, Ohio. I was in my attorney's office, so I got a good chance really to sit back. I think at that time, that's when the attorneys would bring everybody in their office, and we were getting picked one by one. And the worst thing about that was there's one guy who was there who did not get drafted. So it was very detrimental to him.
When we look at the way this thing is today, Cedric, it's impossible to believe that it was not on television in '77.
Right now, basketball is so mega, that's unbelievable. As I was telling you before, even the World Championship game I played in 1980 was tape delayed. The last couple of broadcasts that were for the championship game were some of the highest rated basketball games ever taped.
Now, I don't know if 1977 they had something called the War Room. If the Boston Celtics had a War Room, they had Cornbread Maxwell written up there #1. Let's go into the War Room of the Charlotte Hornets and see what it looks like. This is where all the brass, Littles, Tony Renaud, Alan Bristow, this is where the guys all talk, make their decisions. Apparently, they've made the decision a week ago, but we've also understood there's rumors abound tonight that they're going to trade down for Mutombo, and it's just a rumor. I really haven't heard it from anyone that I can say knows for sure, but that's the rumor that we're hearing so far, that the Hornets might have a dramatic deal in the offing, including Dikembe Mutombo. And we want to go to WIl Hampton right now. He's our reporter live in New York City, where the decision will be announced to the world and to Charlotte. So, Will, how is it up there? What do you know, if anything, so far?
Right now, it's just exciting. We don't know much except for the fact that all the players are here, all the main players, the guys that we will know will go 1 through 15. These guys are still kind of waiting. I don't think they know very well. And let's just bring him in. Larry Johnson is standing by live with us now. The running Rebel superstar could be the next Hornet. What do you know? Can you give us any kind of light on this? Shed some light on the subject at all? Are you going to be the next Hornet?
I don't know anything. All I know is, you know, it's just great to be here. We're just having fun, and you know, it's kind of hard, you know, trying to have fun, not knowing where you're going to be playing your professional basketball. So we're just trying to hang in there and stay loose.
Latest rumor is that the Hornets may trade down and now pick Mutombo. Have you heard that today? How many rumors do you think you've heard in the last couple of weeks?
I've heard several rumors. That's why, like I said, you just take your time and just wait till your name to be called.
What's Larry Johnson going to bring to the NBA?
Larry Johnson is going to bring whatever, you know, I'm just offering basically what the other players offer, you know, hard work, dedication, just do whatever the coaches ask me to do.
The coaches in Charlotte, they call you an intimidator, a guy who can come out and take over a game mentally. Is that something you just grew up doing, or were you always kind of a tough guy?
I don't think I was always kind of a tough guy. You know, I come from a real tough neighborhood, but to transform that toughness into basketball play came from great coaching. Started in my junior high school with Coach Ed Wesley, and on to my college coach, Coach Jerry Tarkanian. And, you know, those guys did a great job of molding me. And, you know, when my name's called tonight, I feel all my previous coaches will feel like they're taking that step with me because they all took a part in this.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you're the Hornet because I'm getting to know you a little bit today. Okay, that's Larry Johnson. Jim, we'll see in about 40 minutes if he's going to be the next Hornet. Back to you in Charlotte.
Great job, Will. We love it, man. We love it. You had him in the hotel this afternoon. You had him live, Cornbread. Again, the thing wasn't even televised in '77. See how much fun you missed?
I see it. I'm just wondering right now, was Will standing on the box because he looked almost as tall as Johnson.
See, already we're finding out. Later on, we'll find out who Cedric thinks the Hornets should draft, and it wasn't the person that Will just interviewed. And let's go to our other guy, Jay Squires, who's given us some great reports this week on the draft. Jay's somewhere in this madness, Jay. Where are you?
I'm in the middle of the floor, directly beneath the scoreboard, which a couple of years ago was not a good place to be. But you know, we've heard Larry Johnson for weeks, and now with all the rumors about Dikembe Mutombo, we've had a groundswell of support for him. Who do you want him to pick?
Mutombo.
Mutombo? What do you think? Brent, what do you think?
Larry Johnson.
What do you think?
Mutombo. Johnson. It's gonna be Larry.
Hornets!
Hornets, we have a vote for the Hornets right there.
Larry Johnson!
Here Mutombo.
Kenny Anderson.
Kenny Anderson, oh my. We're hearing all of it right here, but I'd say the crowd is evenly split between Mutombo and Larry Johnson. Jim?
All right, Jay. We'll be back to Jay before long, and of course it's going to be like that every time we go to him. Let's take a look at the draft order real quick, Cedric, and this is exactly how it's going to fly, how it's going to run down. Charlotte, #1. You can't beat it. There's nothing negative about being #1. New Jersey and Sacramento, there's where there might be a deal. Both teams might want Kenny Anderson. What do you think? Do they both need Kenny Anderson?
I think right now that Sacramento probably could use him more than anybody. I think that Blaylock gives New Jersey the kind of player that they need that can handle that front court. I think that they need from the forward spot would probably be a lot better for New Jersey to take one of the two forwards remaining.
Yeah, Billy Owens and Denver says they'll take Mutombo if he's there, and then it's your guess is as good as anybody's. Maybe Doug Smith in 5. Let's take a look at the next 5 spots. We're just going to give you the top 10. Dallas, Minnesota, Denver from Washington. Now, Atlanta also made a deal today. The LA Clippers picked up Doc Rivers from the Atlanta Hawks. So there was a deal made there. Doc Rivers goes to the LA Clippers, and the LA Clippers give Atlanta back that 9th pick. That's how they wound up right there. Now let's take a look at the Hornets' needs and what they have so far on the roster and what they could possibly move. They got an abundance of guards, Cedric. They obviously don't need to be drafting a guard, but if they have to with the 28th pick, I think they will.
Well, I think the guard situation is definitely take care of itself right now. I think their need really is to go big as possible. And that's why right now, when I look at Larry Johnson, that's why I have a question mark. I think Larry is like a blue chip stock, really.
Okay.
Or Mutombo basically is like a blue chip stock. And the fact that I don't think you can lose with Mutombo. I think he would be steady. I think Johnson is more of a speculation because I think he's going to be great or he's going to be a bust. I think he's a good basketball player. I don't know if he fit into this system.
We'll talk more about that. He's definitely on the record of liking Mutombo. And we'll be back with more live from the Hornets draft party. We'll be back to New York. Stay with us right after this from our sponsors.
Coming up, profiles of some of the most talented players in the NBA draft and your chance to win tickets to a Charlotte Hornets game.
This News 36 Sports Special, Hornets Draft Party, brought to you in part by Fisher Nuts, Schlitz Malt Liquor, GMC Trucks, True Value Hardware, Duke Power, and Jim Nelson Nissan Toyota.
You can do it with True Value.
Behind a beautifully painted home, you're sure to find top quality painting supplies. And True Value has everything you need to make all your painting projects easier. Like the Wagner Power Painter system with 4 spray patterns and a backpack for big jobs. And stay on top of your work with a sturdy Werner 16-foot aluminum extension ladder from participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Observer Sports. The Charlotte Observer, putting people in touch.
Robin Hood, the summertime blockbuster that delivers the goods. A grand adventure. Spectacular. Beautiful. Funny. Robin Hood, America's most popular hero. Join the millions cheering him on. A winner. Kevin Costner is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, rated PG-13. Now playing at a theater near you.
Hi, me and my brother Bobby are going to try this again because I don't want to miss out on what's going on at our Carolina Chevy dealers. Yeah, the Carolina Chevrolet Geo dealers have got some great deals on everything, like the Sporty Lumina. We can get 1,000 cash back for 7.9% financing. We both love the Lumina. Bobby wants a 7.9% financing, but since I'm doing the jumping, I'm going for the $1,000 cash back. Nah. Go ahead, Bobby. Bye. We'll share the 1,000. That'd be fair.
The lowest financing and the biggest discounts in years now at your Carolina Chevrolet Geo dealers.
Most would not want to pick first, simply because I think you're in a situation back like Sam Bowie, Michael Jordan situation. I don't think it makes a lot of difference whether you pick one or two. I personally really like Billy Owens because I've seen him more and more familiar with him, and I coached him along with Chris and Rodney in the USA World Games a couple years ago when I was Bobby Cremen's assistant, and he's an awfully talented player.
Welcome back live to the Charlotte Coliseum. Jim Celania along with Cedric Cornbread Maxwell. And, you know, after hearing Les Robinson talk and you talk about Mutombo, he talks about Owens. The more I look at this, I don't think you could go wrong with any of the four players. In fact, as much as I like Larry Johnson, he might be the biggest chance of the four.
I agree with you wholeheartedly because I think that Larry is that in-between size. But again, Larry could be better than any of the players. He could be the greatest player of them all.
Yeah.
So I think that you're looking at a situation where you got to give and take with him. Are you willing to take a $3 million gamble by going with a guy like him because you won't be really ready to get rid of him then?
Yeah. Even though I say I think Larry Johnson might be the biggest gamble, I think they should take Larry Johnson because I think the Hornets need strength and I think they need leadership. And I think that's what Larry Johnson will give them. And this place is going nuts. You know, the Hornets brought 4 players in and looked at them. Cedric said they didn't do that back in his day. The FBI didn't follow him around, nothing like that. Let's take a look at Kenny Anderson from Georgia Tech. He was the first player to come to Charlotte, and everybody knows what this kid can do. He's probably the greatest ball handler to come out of college ball since Magic Johnson, but he's around 6 feet tall, Cornbread. The 90s is going to be the point guard era. Should they take Kenny Anderson?
I don't think we can take Kenny Anderson forward to take him right now because we have a surplus right now of guards. But at the same time, this kid reminds me of Nate Archibald.
Yeah.
And I played with probably one of the greatest point guards there was around in Tiny. And he reminds me of the same mentality, the same kind of shooting ability. I think he might not be as quick, but I think he might be a better jump shooter. So I don't really think you could go wrong with him. But for this particular team, I don't think you have such a surplus with Muggsy and Rex and kids like that you can't afford really to take him.
Yeah, I hope everybody's old enough to remember Nate Archibald. Before he was injured, he was unbelievable. He led the NBA in scoring and assists, and no one ever did that. He did in 1 year. But Kenny Anderson, his size and maybe his immaturity is only a sophomore coming out of college, but those things can be overcome. 6'2", 168. He can put some muscle on. And, of course, we asked Kenny how much it would mean to go #1 in the draft.
It's a pride thing. You know, you love to be #1, but I really don't care about being #1. I just want to get drafted to a, nice team and just, hopefully opportunity to be there to play some minutes. So, that's my main concern.
Well, the one thing Alan Bristow wanted to make sure of, he didn't want to overlook Kenny Anderson. He wanted to make sure this was not their man.
You're talking about a caliber player like Kenny Anderson, and you better make sure that he's not going to be what everybody's claiming that he's going to be, and that's the next Oscar Robertson. And if he is that, then I think he's definitely warrants consideration for a #1 pick.
Well, I don't think there's ever going to be another Oscar Robertson. There's never going to be another Jerry. There won't even be another Cedric Maxwell.
Who wants one?
I imagine a lot of them would right now. Every player has been looked at closely, including Billy Owens. He might be the most talented player in the draft. By talented, he can do it all, Cedric. Let's take a look at some of the things that Billy Owens can do, which will make him one of the top 3 or 4 players taken in this draft. There's nothing lacking in his game, is there?
I don't think there is. I think he's a good jump shooter. I think he can put the ball on the floor. I think the question mark for him right now might be the weight thing that we're seeing. He has 13% body fat, and for a young man, that's quite a lot of body fat.
And Larry Johnson's body fat is 6%. We've never seen Larry Johnson without that T-shirt under his basketball jersey, but from what I hear, it looks like he's chiseled out of ebony.
I think that, you look at a situation right now, and we're looking at Owens and all the things he can do, and that's why I love him. I think that he's one of the two players that, you know, I would take other than Mutombo. I could be wrong or my situation, but he can run the floor. He could be a big guard for you, play a forward for you, play a power forward or a small forward. Then he goes to the hoop exceptionally. So how can you not take a guy like that?
I see a lot of players in him. I see Jerome Kersey. I see a guy who's much better than Jerome Kersey, in fact.
Yeah.
At 6'9", he might be the full might not be the full 6'9", but in fact, he is a big player who can pass the ball. And some people say he doesn't play with enough emotion. We ask him what he thinks.
I'm pumped up for every game. It's just that I'm not emotional on the court. I get the job done quietly. Sometimes I can go out there and, you know, just put, like, if you really watch me play and you watch me play a good game, you know that I'm control of the game. I'm doing what needs to be done to win the ball game. You know, maybe I'm not swinging my fist or shouting or anything, but I'm out there 100% trying to get the job done.
So our next question was to Alan Bristow. Is he going to have to shift everybody around if he drafts Billy Owens?
No, I don't think so. I think we just try to rotate players and somebody will play some three. Because right now, with Kelly gone, we need another three or a backup three. So one of the big guys will have to play a three in the rotation during the course of the game.
I would stack it. If I felt that was the guy, the best player in the draft, I'd stack. We'd have 12 power forwards if that was the case.
Okay, so he'd like to have all those great players. Stockpile them when you're a young team. Okay, we've got a sports stumper for you right now, so get next to your telephones. You can win a couple of tickets to the Charlotte Hornets basketball games. Here comes the question right now. And tonight, we're going to have two different stumpers for you. First one, name the three players that have been taken just before the Hornets' past first-round picks. Who was drafted before Rex Chapman? Who was drafted before J.R. Reed? Who was drafted before Kendall Gill? That's the question. 536-3636. We're going to take the first correct caller. You'll win some tickets to a Hornets game. The three players taken before the Hornets' past first-round draft picks. All right, Cedric Maxwell and but we'll be right back from the Coliseum. There's a lot more coming after this word from our sponsors. Stay with us.
Still to come, more player profiles as the excitement builds at the Charlotte Hornets draft party.
Automobiles are my life and my livelihood, and you can bet your bottom dollar on that.
That's easy for him to say. They call him $1 Million Bill?
Before I put my name on the line for any dealer, they must pass my personal test, and it's awesome.
Whoa. We challenge any new car or truck dealer to beat a Harrison Ford deal. We dare you.
Low prices, better financing.
Harrelson Ford, they don't beat the other guys' prices, they crush them.
That's awesome, Bill.
This is a can of severe weather paint from Lowe's. It tested better than 5 leading brands. It also has a 15-year durability rating. If you paint your house with this paint in 1991, you won't have to paint it again until the year 2006. Think about it. Severe weather paint from Lowe's. The paint that gets 15 years to the gallon.
The smoothest dude I know is a smooth operator. Everyone else is just an imitator. My man has power through and through. He knows a quality brew, and I do too. Schlitz malt liquor bull. Yeah, he's strong like a gladiator, smoking like a radiator, chill like a refrigerator, warm a lady's heart like an incubator. Nobody does it like a smooth operator. No one does it like the bull. Word, Schlitz malt liquor bull.
A truck you can live with, America. A truck you can work with, America. A truck you can play with, America. A truck you can stay with, America. GMC's truck.
It's Action Cash with $500 cash back on new 1991 Sierras. Or choose low APR GMAC financing.
GMC truck. It's not just a truck anymore.
See your local GMC truck dealer now.
I would have to take Billy Owens because he's a great athlete. I think that he'll be, NBA All-Star for a lot of years to come. And I think some of the other players are great players, but I don't know if they're going to be, bona fide All-Stars, throughout their career.
Welcome back live to the Charlotte Coliseum. Jim Celania with Cedric Maxwell. Of course, that was Chris Corchiani. Should be interesting to see if he is indeed drafted, most likely second round, if at all, Rodney Monroe, I think, will go in the first 13 players or so, maybe top 10 as a shooting guard. Right now, let's talk about the big fella, Cedric's choice, Dikembe Mutombo from Georgetown. It's hard to overlook him when you're that big, and with as little experience as he's really had, Cedric, it's impossible to say how good he'll get.
I think that's the thing about him, the fact that he is so young so far as basketball is concerned. He might be 25, but he doesn't have that much mileage on him. He didn't play that much basketball, so he's still learning. The only question mark really with me is his offensive skills, but I think that can be the way he works. His work ethic really makes him a guy I would love to take.
You know, after hearing him speak for a lot of minutes on interview sessions, I think he might be the most intelligent player in the entire draft. He speaks about 4 languages. I'm very impressed with the man, and I say man because he is 25. I got a feeling you couldn't go wrong with him. I have to agree with you there. I don't think the Hornets go wrong with any player of these 4. I'll say that again. We don't have anybody who does that kind of thing.
I don't think you can get a lot of guys can do that type of thing. Plus, he can make the Hornets a running team. And I think if anybody else can't do that in the situation, if you go ahead and you take Johnson or you take Owens or if you take Anderson, you still need a shot blocker and a guy back there who's going to rebound the ball for you.
Well, we asked Dikembe to evaluate his own game.
I don't know. I think you guys can describe my games better than I can describe myself. The way I can describe myself is a good rebounder and a good block shot, and someone that is still improving his offense better than many people trying to think.
I've always had an affinity for Manute Bol, and I like this guy already. He's a good block shotter. And I'm not making fun of him. He speaks 4 more languages than I do. Of course, the Hornet brass knows he's a defensive impact player.
The one thing that he doesn't have to worry about is his defensive skills, and that he's already got it head and shoulders above most rookies that come in this league, because they're so behind defensively, where he is already a tremendous influence with the defense as a rookie. I mean,
he can do some things that you don't have to teach and you can't teach, and that's rebounding and shot blocking. Yeah, I've seen some guys go to rebounding school, but I've never seen anybody go to a shot blocking school where they teach guys how to block shots. That's an innate ability that guys possess.
And of course, as I expressed earlier, I heard the rumor walking in the Coliseum 3 hours ago there was a move to trade down and get Mutombo. It's just a rumor. We'll have to wait and see, and we're not too far away from finding out exactly. We'll be right back at the Coliseum, Cedric Maxwell, and we'll have more to say, a lot more to say after this.
Just ahead on the Charlotte Hornets draft party, a live report from Madison Square Garden, where NBA prospects await the word on who's number 1.
Wild thing, I think I love you. You move me.
Riverbank Zoo, Columbia. The best day trip you'll ever take.
Wild thing. Shake it, wild thing.
From Finland to Africa to Forest City, North Carolina, we are all citizens of a single planet. That's why Duke Power joined 18 other corporations to form the Global Environmental Management Initiative. Its purpose is to foster environmental excellence worldwide, to protect and conserve this Earth. It's not just our dream, it's our duty.
You can do it with True Value.
Get the basics for outdoor living. You'll need the Rubbermaid 32-gallon trash can for only $9.99 and True Tough yard and trash bags. Get 40 for just $5.99. Green Thumb Wasp and Hornet Spray kills up to 20 feet away, and it's just $1.99. And the Eagle 1 1/4-gallon gas can is also just $1.99 in the Summer Value Days circular and at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Hi, me and my brother Bobby here are going to parachute out of this plane and land squarely, whoa, in the showroom for a Carolina Chevy dealer. Because the Carolina Chevrolet GIL dealers have got some great deals, like $1,000 cash back and as low as 1.9% financing on the Chevy S10 Blazer. We're going to get us one of those Blazers, whoa, and $1,000 cash back and some of that low 1.9% financing. Ain't that right, Bobby? Bobby, don't land on one
The lowest financing and the biggest discounts in years now at your Carolina Chevrolet Geo dealers.
I haven't studied them really. That's their job to study them. In high school, I followed Billy Owens very closely, and I just think he's a superb talent. He's a good competitor, and I probably know him better. Nakumbo can really rebound. In a couple of years, he'd be a great center. And Kenny Anderson's a great point guard. Larry Johnson's great for the team. It's a hard pick.
Okay, so Dean Smith would take any of them, and I wouldn't disagree with him at all. Les Robinson said take Billy Owens. Okay, we're back at the Coliseum. Jim Celania along with Cedric Maxwell. Let's take a look at that sports number question we had earlier. We've already got a winner, and the question was, can you name the 3 players that have been taken just before the Hornets' first-round draft picks? And it was a 13-year-old from Charlotte, Brandon Hart. Brandon Hart. He wins the tickets. Tim Perry was taken just before Rex Chapman. Glenn Rice was taken just before J.R. Reed, and Dennis Scott was taken just before Kendall Gill. And you'll win a pair of tickets to anywhere you want to go. If you
just
can tell me who was drafted in front of you.
Ernie Grunfeld.
Ernie Grunfeld, Tennessee.
Tennessee, yep. Now he played with the Knicks. He played with Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah.
And Milwaukee wanted to pick me and kind of soured on me.
Yeah, Bernie and Ernie. Bernard King and Ernie Grunfeld went to Tennessee. Bernard's still going big guns, and Ernie is an executive for the Knickerbockers now.
That's right. He ended up going to the Knicks and taking the position there, and is doing quite well.
Kent Benson was the first player taken in your draft.
First player taken.
Yeah, okay. Which is interesting because Indiana had like 3 starters go in the top 10, and UNLV can also have that done. Or 3 players taken in the first round. UNLV could have 3 players taken in the top 10. That has never happened, but it most likely will in this draft.
I think it will. I think it will. Ogden has to go.
Oh, yeah. And Anthony and Augman. And this guy we're going to look at right now, and that's Larry Johnson. We know Larry Johnson is going to go early. And if what we've heard the past few weeks is true, he's going to go as early as you can go. Tark was his coach, and his next coach might be Gene Littles with the Charlotte Hornets. 6'5½". They listed him as 6'7" when he played or so, but does 2 inches really matter? And you told me it does, Cedric.
2 inches can mean a great deal right now in the NBA. I think you get the situation, especially when you got to get the size of Johnson. I think that it's just one of those, what position is he going to play? And if you have a guy who's 6'5½" and you have a forward that's only a guard that's 6'5", then what positions are going to be limited there?
But what about Charles Barkley? Is he another Charles Barkley?
I don't think. I look at his explosive ability. I think there's only one Charles Barkley. Right now, I think that he's going to play well. I think he's going to do well in this league, but it's just a question mark. He can be the greatest player right now in this draft, but at the same time, he could be the most disappointing player. But the thing I really love about him is the fact that, different from Owens, is the fact that he's going to give you that rah-rah, and I think that's what the Hornets need.
I think the fans will love him. He plays with his face. He plays with his emotions on his face, and that's something we need in this town. Yeah. That's something we need for the Hornets. Some people say he's the next Charles Barkley. We ask him, what does he think?
I like to think that they're pretty accurate. I mean, that's how I try to pattern my game after Charles Barkley. And a little bit James Worthy. It's just that those guys are just 5 or 6 notches over me. I'm like here and they like here. So a little bit of work, hopefully I can get there.
So the Hornet front office knows they're getting a fiery player, an aggressive player, a lot of heart, and that can make up for several inches sometimes. So does this make him stand out above the rest?
You bet. I think that you look at the core, the really nucleus core of any of the real good teams, and you see that they have a competitive, will type people that are out there really leading their team. And I think Larry Johnson, he has that quality.
Larry Johnson likes to bang down inside. He likes to be tough. Physically, he likes to go to the basket like Buck Williams, like a Buck Williams type, maybe a little better offensively, but defensively, that type of player will get after it pretty good.
You know, one thing is certain, when this draft, after the first 4 or 5 picks, it drops off, and that's why the Hornets are so glad they had that #1 pick. Let's take a look at some of the players that might go in these 5 through 10 spots. Stacey Augmon has to go in the top 10, I would think, Cedric.
One of the players right now is going to be a surprise. I think that he can just really do it all. If it wasn't a situation right now, that he could probably really go higher in my book.
Okay, and also we're going to see Greg Anthony. Now, this is a guard which didn't get a whole lot of star status because of the people he played with, but you can see he can play the game.
Pure shooter, can put the ball on the floor. rebound, do the things that has to be done.
Now, this is Steve Smith, the most talented #2 guard in the draft for Michigan State. The first shooting guard to be drafted. I would think Rodney Monroe or Mark Macon would be the next, but this guy's the first to go, and maybe Miami or Dallas would take Steve Smith. Then Doug Smith, the big forward from Missouri. His stock went down last year. He looks like Karl Malone when you see his best highlights.
Yeah, he does. I think he has a situation. He has the kind of body. He can do a lot of things around the basket and get some things done.
And Brian Williams, who transferred from the ACC to Arizona, of course, he's going to go top 10. Good, smart player, a lot of heart, really likes to be in the game and play well. And Mark Macon from Temple, this kid was a great freshman, and his stock kind of dropped every year after that.
And then picked up this year again. So I think you look at a situation where anything can happen over a 4-year period.
All right, so those are the players that we think will go after the top 4 or 5, and we'll find out as the night proceeds. And we're going to go to commercial right now. We'll be right back. We're not too far away, about 10 minutes away from the Hornets' #1 draft pick. Stay with us.
Next on the Charlotte Hornets draft party, we'll take you live to New York City for the announcement, the #1 NBA draft pick for 1991.
This News 36 Sports Special, Hornets Draft Party, brought to you in part by Fisher Nuts, Schlitz Malt Liquor, GMC Trucks, True Value Hardware, Duke Power, and Jim Nelson Nissan Toyota.
At Jim Nelson Nissan, we've got a monster on the loose, and he's crushing all the prices on all the new Nissans. Take this 1991 hard body 4x4, $99.88, or only $158 a month. Or how about this 2-wheel drive, only $69.88 or $113 a month. But call us now at 1-800-25-24-24-4 or come by Jim Nelson Nissan, I-77 Rock Hill, exit 82B.
If you like 'em fresh, you'll love 'em Fisher. You can see how fresh Fisher nuts look, smell how fresh, taste how fresh. If you like 'em fresh, you'll love 'em Fisher. Compared to those other nuts, you can see how fresh Fisher nuts look. Fisher hazelnuts are fresh and crisp. Fisher cashews, fresh and creamy. Fisher pecans, fresh and crunchy. Fisher mixed nuts. If you like 'em fresh, you'll love 'em Fisher.
We don't just take you to the story. We take you through the story. Hard copy.
Weeknights at 7.
Smooth operator is together naturally. He knows Schlitz Malt Liquor means quality. Everybody checks him out when he's on the scene. He's got power and strength, you know what I mean. But power alone is not the groove. Along with strength, he's got mellow and smooth. A deaf combo, the originator, is known to all as Smooth Operator. And when you're after the best, don't settle for less. No one does it like a smooth operator. No one does it like the bull. Schlitz Malt Liquor Bull.
Observer Entertainment. The Charlotte Observer, putting people in touch.
Well, I heard that Chilcott guy from Carolina, but if he's already gone by the first pick, I like Larry Johnson a lot. Then again, you know, they always talking about how much they need a center. So I'm glad I don't have to make the decision. It's a tough decision.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Pete Chilcott's one player that really improved his stock with these camps they've been having, with these exhibitions. He's going to go in the first round, no question. He would never be around for the Hornets' #2 pick. If he was, they would take him in a heartbeat. Agree?
I think they would. I think they would. I think that the same thing, the same token, I think that Rick Fox's stock went down because he didn't go into these postseason drafts and the camps they had.
Yeah, okay. Now, we've talked about who we think they should take. I'm going to ask you, who do you think the Hornets will take?
I don't want to look foolish, so I'm going to just go along and say like everybody else. I'm going to say Johnson. I think that they will take Johnson because of the toughness. I think that that's what they want to instill right now. And I think that any player they take is not going to make them a playoff team for next year. So if they take the best player right now, I think thinking along with them, I think that they're looking for a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, Alan Bristow said you need 3 great players to be a great team or even a good team. And 2 pieces would be Kendall Gill and Larry Johnson. The 3rd piece could be Shaquille O'Neal next year, for all we know. Woo. Okay, yeah, the Shaq. Why didn't he come out? We wouldn't be talking about anything right now. Let's go up to New York City, where our WIl Hampton is standing by live. Hey, Will.
How you doing, Jimmy? More observations from my conversation with Larry Johnson earlier today. I walked in his hotel room today. He didn't have a shirt on. the man is cut. He is one strong basketball player, and I think he'll be a very good Charlotte Hornet. One other note, I just talked with Bill Branch. He's the guy on the other end of the phone here. He's the guy that will take the call from Alan Bristow, and he says they have a name on the back of the uniform. So to me, that means there's nothing happened today. They had the name on the back of that uniform for the last week. So that's what he told me, and we'll see what happens. Jim, back to you in Charlotte.
Well, I'm no Inspector Clouseau, but I would say that name has to be Johnson if they came up there with the name on the jersey.
I don't think you can get Mutombo back there, so.
Yeah, Bill Branch would have taken 2 jerseys or his buddy along with him. Let's go back out to Jay Squires. I heard him cheering a minute ago. Jay, what were you doing?
I just appeared here. No, but seriously, TNT just brought its broadcast live to the Coliseum, and of course we were in New York at the time, but the crowd did go nuts when they just saw themselves. They are going crazy here. They're about to, and we've got some great rumors circulating. We're going to come and talk to a couple of these guys in section 122. Tell me the best trade rumor you've heard tonight.
Tonight, the best trade rumor I've heard was the Willie Anderson trade for J.R. Reed and Rex Chapman.
That's all. That's all. Didn't you hear a better one?
No, that's it. That's the best one I heard so far.
We heard a wild one tonight. Kendall Gill and Rex Chapman, and we wind up with Johnson and Mutombo. Who do you want him to pick?
Larry Johnson all the way. I'm a UNLV fan. You see my sneakers, UNLV. All the way, Larry Johnson, #1 pick.
Maybe in a couple of years we'll be evaluating how Larry did. Right now we're going to take a look at the Hornets' past draft picks. Here's a look at Rex Chapman, J.R. Reed, and Kendall Gill. Rex Chapman hopes to continue to improve and prove to Hornets fans that he was worth the franchise's very first college draft pick in June of 1988.
Oh boy, it's like night and day. You remember Rex as a rookie, and he was forced to play a lot of minutes, and his shooting percentage suffered from that, and he struggled. He's a young kid at 19, and now here he is, 23 years old, and he's grown a lot in not only his basketball game, but matured as a person. His personality is totally changed. He's more outgoing in the community. He was more of a sheltered person his rookie year, and I'm really happy the way Rex has improved.
While Chapman has jumped ahead of schedule, J.R. Reed, the 5th pick of the 1989 draft, has fallen short of the Hornets' hopes. He's heard the boos and the talk that the front office has tried to trade him.
We've talked to J.R. He's gone to the big man's camp, and he's got he's going to have the opportunity where he's going to be coming into camp. And he's going to have to probably work for his minutes.
Kendall Gill, the 5th player taken last year, has been labeled a star. To this point, he's shown the most promise of all the Hornets draft picks.
I think he's a more mature player, maybe because he stayed in school a little longer than the other 2 guys. He's a little more focused, and I think he'll probably get there a lot quicker than the other 2 players.
As for picks beyond the first round, last year's second-rounder, Steve Scheffler, is the only one of 4 players chosen or negotiated for who has lasted an entire season. Jay Squires, News 36 Sports. And the Hornets hope to have a little more success with this second-round pick this year. They might go for Dale Davis, Pete Chilcutt, even Kevin Lynch from Minnesota. Jim?
Okay, Jay, I think we're going to keep it here before we switch over live to TNT's coverage, and we'll find out exactly who the #1 pick is. Is that what I should be doing? Let's talk back to the station right now. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to keep it right here because we certainly don't want to miss the #1 player taken. And we're a couple of minutes away from it. Right now, Larry Johnson's got to be sitting there, as strong as he is, a little sweat, a little clammy hands maybe, looking at $3 million a year.
I don't think nobody's got clammy hands right now. I think they're just calling their accountants up right now because the money is there.
Okay, we're going to move over to TNT right now. Is that the word? Okay, let's go ahead and pick up TNT's coverage. We don't want you to miss the #1 pick. Let's go there.
3,000. So 2.5 times as many people are here, and as you can see, every seat that's been made available is filled. The NBA gave away free tickets. They had a one-day window for fans here in New York to get the tickets. The tickets were snapped up in a heartbeat and were actually, these are free tickets now, being scalped on the streets. There were people walking up and saying, $10 you can get into the NBA draft. Is the NBA popular? Well, there's your answer. You're looking at the team representatives from Charlotte now. They have less than 5 minutes to make the selection. They're the first team to select in the draft. Here are the top 5, the first 5, where all the excitement has been and where everybody is talking about Charlotte, New Jersey, Sacramento, Denver, Miami, and you might even add a number 6 in there too, because they say there are about 6 super players in the draft. and we'll talk about them in just a moment. Now, there's been a couple of transactions. Doug Collins mentioned there's not been a whole lot of activity in trades, but Atlanta did trade Doc Rivers to the Los Angeles Clippers, and the Atlanta Hawks moved up, and they get the number 9 selection here tonight, and also second-round picks in 93 and 94 by sending Doc Rivers to the LA Clippers. Now, the Clippers also made a trade today. They sent Winston Garland in a trade to Denver for the second-round pick in either 1996 or 97. So, Doug and Hubie, first of all, let's talk most significantly about Doc Rivers, a second-round choice himself, as a matter of fact, a leader point guard for the Hawks going to the Clippers. Hubie, your thoughts?
I like the move if I'm the Clippers. You're getting an experienced guard who for many years was a point guard, 6'4", can guard any guy in the league. Plus, he's going to give you leadership. He's been in the playoffs almost every year during his career. You match him up with Harper. You now can bring Gary Grant off of the bench, and it might relieve a lot of pressure on him, you know, to produce the big numbers that they thought when they drafted him on the first round. When you couple that with all of the talent up front, I really like that move. Now, I'm not so happy that Doc Rivers might not be too happy, but I think it was a great move for the Los Angeles Clippers.
And one comment, Doug, before we look at Charlotte's need, because
okay, we're going to come right back to the Coliseum. Apparently, they're not ready for the pick yet. It could go, I guess, till 7:45, and we'll stay here until we are told otherwise on what to do. Cedric, when these guys are waiting to be drafted, do you think they care where they're going? I know there was the Ronnie Cycli deal where he kind of said he didn't want to play in Charlotte, and he's been booed here ever since because he was honest saying where he wanted to go. Is it pretty much better for a player to keep those feelings to himself now?
I think it really is right now, and I think that I was one of the prime people for that because I know I didn't want to go to Boston. But Boston and Milwaukee were the two teams that were talking about picking me, and basically because I hated cold weather. I wanted to go any place in the South or any place out west.
Yeah. Okay, so right now I'm getting a message. Contracts. Eric Lechner here. His expires July 1st. Obviously, it's going to matter. If they take Mutombo, I would say Eric Lechner might be gone, or else Mike Jaminski might be gone. So Lechner's future with the Hornets strictly exists on who this #1 pick is. If it's Larry Johnson, do they go out and try to re-sign Eric Lechner?
I think that they could possibly do that, but I think, like you said, if Mutombo comes in here, I think you got a situation where Jaminski could possibly go on, and then they free up $1.6 million.
Yeah.
So you get a situation where one takes care of the other sometimes.
The more you read, the more you think that this deal with San Antonio is going to go through with J.R. Reed and Rex Chapman for Willie Anderson. And then I also read in a Dallas newspaper that Dwayne Shinsis would be thrown in the deal. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. And we are in a standby mode right now because any moment Branch is going to let David Stern know who the #1 draft pick is, and we're basically 1 minute away from that time. So we'll keep it here. You won't miss it. Okay, we're going to have the #1 pick, and here it comes. Let's go there.
1991 NBA draft. The Charlotte Hornets select Larry Johnson from University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Larry Johnson from UNLV. He says these are his words about himself. I can score from 8 or 9 feet in. I can rebound. I can defend the post.
Okay, so there is Larry Johnson, the Charlotte Hornets' first-round pick. The suspense is over. Johnson from Dallas, Texas, played for UNLV, played the full 4 years. He's not an underclassman, 6'5½" in his stocking feet, 250 pounds of chiseled stone, and I believe he looks happy.
I think he's very happy right now. You look at a situation where Wells Fargo has to be picking him up in a minute.
#1 player selected in the draft of 1990.
You know, Bob, I think another thing that
Just those pictures say it all. I believe Larry Johnson is going to be very happy to come to Charlotte, North Carolina. The fans here, mixed reaction at the Coliseum. Got to be honest, mixed reaction. Not everybody stood up and cheered. And we're going to take a break right now. Larry Johnson, the first player taken by the Hornets. Will there be a trade coming? We seriously doubt it. They have his name on the jersey already. Let's take a commercial break. We'll be right back after this.
Next on the Charlotte Hornets Draft Party, another chance for you to win tickets to a Hornets game. Plus, what the fans think of our newest Charlotte Hornets.
Friday, Saturday. Get set for spectacular savings at Circuit City's 22-hour sale. Save on this Sanyo 25-inch color TV with remote. Just $297.97. And every camcorder is on sale. Every format, every famous name. Plus this white Westinghouse 16.8 cubic foot refrigerator. Now $399.97. Friday, Saturday. Hurry in for Circuit City's 22-hour sale.
Welcome to Circuit City, where service is state of the art.
We got a whole lot of deals at Jim Nelson Toyota, and we got a whole lot of special purchase 1991 Corollas and Camrys, and $49 down delivers. Save a whole lot of money. Call now, 1-800-24-24-274, or come by Jim Nelson Toyota, I-77, exit 82A, Rock Hill.
Got a whole lot of deals for you, Toyota. If you like 'em fresh, you'll love a Fisher.
You can see how fresh Fisher nuts look, smell how fresh, taste how fresh.
If you like 'em fresh, you'll love a Fisher.
Compared to those other nuts, you can see how fresh Fisher nuts look. Fisher hazelnuts are fresh and crisp. Fisher cashews, fresh and creamy. Fisher pecans, fresh and crunchy. Fisher mixed nuts.
If you like 'em fresh, you'll love a Fisher. You can do it with True Value.
Restore that showroom shine without rubbing or buffing with Finish 2001. It's just $4.99. Or duplicate gentle hand polishing with the Master Mechanic 9-inch orbital polisher waxer. Complete with wax and polish, it's just $49.99. Then clean and shine tires in one step with no-touch spray, only $2.99. At participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
I'm available. I'll take myself. That's a tough question, though. There's been some questions about Billy Owens' health and his heart or so, but you know, you can't. Larry Johnson can't go wrong there, but you know, and then there's the Kimbe. They can use size, so I think with one of those four players, they're definitely going to get a marquee player that's going to step in and be able to help them a lot.
Oh, there's a guy right there, Rick Fox. He must be going, when am I going to be taken? A lot of people saying he's sliding way down because he wouldn't take part in the camps. Mike Jaminski's joined us. We'll be with him in just a second. First of all, let's go back out in the wild stands with our Jay Squires. Jay, do you have a reaction out there yet?
I'd say what we just heard was 98% unbridled happiness and cheers and maybe 2% boos and groans. So I think this place is extremely happy. Let's talk to some of these little guys down here. These guys, they know basketball. Are you happy they picked Larry Johnson?
They should have picked Mutombo.
Are you serious? What do you think?
I think Larry Johnson is good, but they should have just go ahead and pick Mutombo, whatever his name is. But he is better, though.
We said earlier there was a groundswell of support for Dikembe Mutombo. Let's keep going down the line here. Are you happy with the pick?
I'm very happy.
What do you think?
Number one, Larry Johnson's going all the way.
How about you, sir?
He's not a center and he's not a point guard.
Hi. We didn't hear many of those boos, but I guess there's a lot of people that aren't so unbridled happy right now. Jim, we'll go back down to you.
All right, Jay, so the fans, I think, are like us. I think, how could you go wrong with any four players? We're going to ask a Hornet right now, Mike Jaminski. Who did you think they would take, Mike? And then tell us what you thought about who they took.
Well, I knew they were leaning towards Larry Johnson, and I knew Allen had a lot of admiration for him, and the rest of the organization was behind him. But with players in this situation where you don't have a clear-cut number one guy, everybody's got their own opinion on who's best for the team. And I think for what we need right now, Larry is a great pick for us.
Okay, they say that with Larry at 6'5.5" and Johnny Newman at 6'7", that can't work, that can't happen. Does another deal have to be made? I mean, will it work? Are they wrong, the people who say that can't work?
Well, you know, I think it's kind of early to start talking about deals. I think I played for a coach up in Philadelphia, Jimmy Lynam. He used to say that, you know, don't slot a guy in. The guy's a great basketball player. You find a place for him out on the floor, and he's going to do good things for you. And I think Larry Johnson's a prime example of that. You can't look at him as 6'5", 6'6". I played with a guy up in Philly who was 6'5", 6'6", and he was one of the best players in the league. So, you know, I think it'll work out for us.
All right, Cedric, so they don't take Mutombo. They take 6'5.5". You got to live with that. Maybe he is the number one question mark of the four, but I still think he might be the best of the four.
I really think that he could possibly be the best of the four players. My question is, who is he going to guard, and can he get farther out than 8 feet. I think 6'5.5" sometimes in this league makes it a little bit difficult. And I think that Jaminski will agree with me the fact that we don't know if he can be a Charles Barkley. He has the potential to be a Charles Barkley, but we don't know if he's going to be a Charles Barkley.
And getting back to G-Man for one quick question. Had they taken Mutombo, I guess you or Eric would be wondering what's up.
Well, I was pretty confident in my situation. I knew that he wasn't going to come in and start right away. And I think of the situation that we have, that I'm a proven starting center. So, I would have taught him, slowly.
Yeah.
Very slowly. Kind of worked him into it, but I'm happy with our pick.
Will it be slowly, like in about 2 years?
Maybe 2 or 3. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I think Cedric was right about. I'm in no means saying that he is going to be the next Charles Barkley. That's a heck of a thing to hang on a kid's shoulders. But my point is that the kid's a proven player. You can find a place out on the court for him.
Right.
I agree with that.
I like the new Chris Mullin haircut too.
It's been hot up in Philadelphia.
It's been hot in Philly. Hey, it's been hot in Charlotte. It's still hot in here. We got to go away for a little bit. We'll be right back at the Coliseum. Stay with us.
When your family wants a spread with better buttery taste, then Shed Spread Country Crock.
Butter, 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 better.
A lot better buttery taste. Just say
Butter.
Parquet Spread. For better buttery taste, just say Parquet.
Thank you.
Right now, during your Carolina Nissan dealers Monster Sales event, prices are being crushed. With monstrous factory-to-dealer incentives on Sentra. Up to $1,200 on tough Nissan trucks. Up to $1,000 on Pathfinder. And up to $1,400 on the Nissan Stanza. But avoid the crunch, because the Nissan Monster Sales event ends July 3rd. Maybe sooner.
The smoothest dude I know is a smooth operator. Everyone else is just an imitator. My man has power through and through. He knows a quality brew, and I do too. Schlitzmark, liquor bull. Yeah, he's strong like a gladiator, smoking like a radiator, chill like a refrigerator, warm a lady's heart like an incubator. Nobody does it like a smooth operator. No one does it like the bull. Word, Schlitzmark, liquor bull.
The #1 pick is being made, and Charlotte will have a new Hornet. Good evening, I'm Tom Miller.
And I'm Jesse Johnson. Tonight at 11, you'll hear from the nation's #1 player.
And Ivana must be having the last laugh. Marla Maples is out, and the new lady in Trump's life may surprise you.
Plus, the amazing story of a passenger who boarded a flight today in midair.
Join us for these stories and more tonight on Nightcast, coming up at 11.
The news since 6:30. Tonight at 11 on News 36 Nightcast.
Hello, everybody. Jim Celania, Cedric Maxwell live at the Charlotte Coliseum. If you just sat down in front of the TV, Larry Johnson was taken by the Hornets, and moments ago, Kenny Anderson, the Georgia Tech guard, was chosen by the New Jersey Nets. So, Bill Fitch, Willis Reed got their point guard of the future, you think?
I think he's a point guard of the future. I just look at it as a surprise pick, though.
Yeah, it is a surprise pick. Maybe Owens will go next, then Mutombo. We'll wait and see. Let's go to WIl Hampton right now at Madison Square Garden, or in New York. Is that where you are?
Yeah, in New York somewhere, Manhattan, Madison Square Garden. Right. This place just exploded. You better believe they are happy to have Kenny Anderson up this way. He's a homegrown talent, a neighborhood legend in the streets of New York, and they're excited to have Kenny Anderson playing for New Jersey. As far as Larry Johnson, he kind of winked at me when he came down from the stage. I don't think he knew he was going to be #1, but he definitely had a pretty good idea. Back to you in Charlotte.
Well, it looks like you're in with Larry Johnson, Will. That's great. We're looking forward to these great interviews and stuff that no one else gets, okay?
No, we'll get it. We'll get it.
All right, buddy. You've done it today. You might as well just keep it up.
We'll just keep on plugging. That's what we are.
Got that right. We're the ones moving up. And here's an interview with Larry Johnson taped moments ago on TNT. Larry Johnson.
Yes, it was real hard work, but I had some great guidance along the way. My family, my mother, the coaches I had, and I just had a great time. And it's been fun. It's been a pretty tough struggle, but I made it.
So what are you going to do for the Charlotte Hornets?
Well, I'm going to go in. I'm going to basically offer the Charlotte Hornets that I offered, you know, the previous teams I played on. You know, hard work. I'm going in doing whatever the coach asked me to do, whatever my teammates need me to do, and, you know, just try to win.
Well, congratulations. Also, congratulations, Dallin Bristol, because he got the man.
All right, thanks a lot for that from TNT. And right now, there's a car dealership out there somewhere knowing they're probably going to sell a $60,000 or $70,000 car, right, Cedric?
All right, right. Bex right now is the happiest person in Charlotte, other than Larry Johnson.
There's some salesperson out there saying, I want the commission, I want the commission. All right, and we're going to be back with more from the Coliseum after this.
A truck you can live with, America. A truck you can work with, America. A truck you can play with, America. A truck you can stay with, America.
It's Action Cash. Get 1,000 cash back on new Sonomas or 1,000 cash back on new 91 S15 Jimmy two-doors or low APR GMAC financing.
It's not just a truck anymore.
See your local GMC truck dealer now.
"70 years ago, protecting the environment wasn't as popular as it is today. Nevertheless, Duke Power's first environmental protection program began in 1923. We didn't do it because it was fashionable. We did it for the environment. We still do.
If you like 'em fresh, you'll love a Fisher.
You can see how fresh Fisher nuts look, smell how fresh, taste how fresh.
If you like 'em fresh, you'll love a Fisher.
Compared to those other nuts, you can see how fresh Fisher nuts look. Fisher hazelnuts are fresh and crisp. Fisher cashews, fresh and creamy. Fisher pecans, fresh and crunchy. Fisher mixed nuts.
If you like 'em fresh, you'll love 'em Fisher.
Sundrop, the good taste for good people, wants you to win a Yamaha Wave Jammer jet ski. Cool off with the great taste of Sundrop and your own Yamaha Wave Jammer. It's easy to enter. Entry forms are available wherever you find the cool, refreshing taste of Sundrop. There's no purchase necessary. See your local Sundrop merchant for details. Picture yourself on a Yamaha Wave Jammer jet ski from Sundrop, the good taste for good people.
Hey, everybody, we just got time to thank you for being with us. We'll let you know who the second-round pick is. Super job again, Cedric, okay?
Enjoyed it and hope we do it again.
And Billy Owens just went next in the draft. We got to go. Thanks for being with us. See you in the news at 11 o'clock. Night.
This News 36 Sports Special, Hornets Draft Party, brought to you in part by Fisher Nuts, Schlitz Malt Liquor, GMC Trucks, True Value Hardware, Duke Power, and Jim Nelson Nissan Toyota.